Greetings, Brian Keeler here. Welcome to my studio in Ithaca, New York. As you saw in the banner at the beginning of this video, we're featuring an exhibit about mythology, mostly Greco-Roman mythology, but also allegory, personal allegory, sort of narratives that I've invented, but oftentimes they go along with classical themes from Greco-Roman mythology, the Three Graces, and many other themes. Susanna and the Elders, there's some biblical themes here also. The doubting Thomas, or the incredulity of St. Thomas. And this one that I'm working on here now, I'm in the final stages of doing Prometheus, and there's a corollary or an analogy, an analogous theme between the doubting Thomas and Prometheus. They were both wounded in the liver, and the story with Prometheus, in this one you can come in a little closer so you can see the painting here. Prometheus was the Greek god that brought fire to mankind, and he was condemned to be tortured by having an eagle come each day to tear out a piece of his liver, but eventually Hercules came to rescue him. And this painting I've invented pretty much. I used a piece of sculpture that was in the Cincinnati Museum, and I often do this. I'll find pieces of sculpture in museums, the Louvre, the Uffizi, the Met, various places of sculpture, and then I'll reinterpret them and put them in the setting. And this particular setting is meant to allude to the Susquehanna Valley in Pennsylvania, but I've pretty much invented it and the whole background, the whole scene, and that's part of the fun of doing these and putting them into contemporary scenes. And this one, as you can tell, is a nocturne, a mythological nocturne. So I'm going to show you some of the final things that I'm doing here. If you come down to my palette, I'm mixing up this kind of low chroma blue here, and I'm using a variety of colors and putting a little bit of black in there, and also, I'm over here, I'm going towards cerulean blue, and I'll put a little burnt umber in here too. Burnt umber kind of darkens it, but it also subdues the blue, making it a little more grayish. And what I'm going to do with this blue is put it here in the core of the shadow. I've talked about this core of the shadow in other videos that I've done, but I'm making the blue right at the transition between the light and the dark, and putting these strokes on in short, choppy strokes. And now I'm going to switch to another brush here just to soften it. And this other brush has a low chroma umberish color, and I'm softening that borderline between that transition point. It should probably go a little darker in here too, right at the core, and I'll do that here now. That's just about what I wanted here, to go a little bit darker in value, make the value a little bit darker here right at this transition point. Like I said, I'm inventing these figures. I had a general idea from the statue, but more or less I've kind of changed the poses somewhat, but basically I had to invent the anatomy, and that's part of the fun of doing these. And these figures in the background are bringing the fire, the light back to mankind, and I've just invented them. They're just kind of generally done. There's not a lot of detail in them. But look down here on Hercules' thigh. This is another example of this, putting this chroma, this bluish chroma, in the transition point between the light and the dark, and softening as I go. I'm going to switch brushes here to go to this light color that whoops, I got a little dark in there. I didn't want to get that in there. Whoops, I have to clean it off again. I'm going to come down here I just want a light color, and what I'm doing here is popping up that light there, but softening this roundness. The idea is we want it to go around the corner softly. And that's, just soften that with my finger. Just come in here and feather it. So I think this is pretty much what I wanted to show you here. I have this perspective looking down on farmlands with these buildings with an aerial perspective, and moonlight reflecting off of the water there. So that's part of the fun of doing these paintings, is inventing them and having fun with them, and inventing the imagery, but basing it on classical themes, Renaissance themes, and ancient Greco-Roman themes. So you can look at all of these paintings. Some of them are brand new like this, and others go back many years on the North Star Gallery website. It's northstarartgallery.com, and it has all of them listed with the prices and the sizes and the mediums. So I hope this inspired you and maybe learned something about painting techniques. And also I'd like to mention I have a number of videos, full-length videos, one on nocturnes in particular, that you can see on my website, briankeeler.com. So go to both websites, North Star Art Gallery and my own website. So thanks so much for your attention.